Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to talk about what was my stock market return in 2024. So I saw a lot of you guys in the comment section yesterday talking about it, asking about it, and there was a funny few figures that were thrown out there. Today I'll go through what my return was. It was a pretty good year. It wasn't as good as last year, but we'll talk about all that and some other stuff as well in this video today about how my portfolio went in 2024. Hope you enjoy it. Hit the like button. Let's get started. So before we start, just a quick shout out. The Patreon is £5 a month at the moment. It is going up by 20% next week though, as Patreon keep reminding me it's been 54 months since I updated the price last time. And when I last did the Patreon price change, we weren't doing 2 exclusive videos every week on there, which we are doing now, nearly 100 exclusive videos on there. My live buy and sell alerts, and also, as you've probably seen through this year and last year as well, some exceptional stock picks as well, which has helped me outperform the stock market. So if you do want to join, now is your time to do it. And also, I've seen a lot of you guys using the link to get started in your investing journey. Trading22 is the platform that I use for buying and selling all my stocks. You can join through the link in the description and get a free share worth up to £100. So let's get stuck on today's video. The S&P 500, what a year it had once again. The first back-to-back over 20% return years, I think, since like 1980 something. Insane. I did not think the S&P would have as good year as what it has done, but it has. It had a really good year. Couple of things that I want to point out is that I try and beat the S&P 500 as an individual stock picker. The whole reason why I do individual stock picking is to get more returns than the S&P 500. If I can get somewhere between a 5 to 10% return on top of the S&P 500, I will be very happy with that. If I can beat the S&P 500 by 5-10% a year, that will significantly boost my money that I make in the stock market, and it makes it worth doing the individual stock picking. So that's always the aim. Now, like I said, I didn't think the S&P would have as good year as what it has, and I still today think that the S&P probably has outperformed more than what it should have done. The reason why is because of the top weighting stocks in the portfolio. They've performed absolutely amazing for it. And sometimes when I see people talk about the S&P 500, some people want to see 30% beating returns on the S&P 500, which isn't sustainable. There's going to be maybe a couple of people that will do it and they will be the best investors in the world, but it's not sustainable to do it. And what I've seen is a few people at the moment claiming to do so well, but realistically a lot of them are closet index investors. They've kind of picked the top holdings of the S&P 500, which have done absolutely amazing, and it's worked for them for this year. And I've seen a few people saying, "Oh, these are my returns." Then you look at the portfolio, and it's basically filled of the top 10 top weighted stocks in the S&P 500. Eventually, that will catch up to them, because when you look at the S&P valuation this year, it's gone to very extended values. It's the third highest since the tech bubble and the 08 crash, which is a little bit rich. And whereas I see stocks like Apple, for example, which had a very good year, 34%. You've got a lot of stocks at the moment trading at 41 times earnings. You've got the likes of Tesla, which is trading at 110 times earnings. You've got the likes of Costco, great company, but realistically 53 times earnings for a company that's growing 7% a year, I think it's a little bit rich. So considering when I look at the S&P 500 right now, I personally think that I'm very happy with beating the S&P 500 this year, because I'm not a closet index investor. I buy individual stocks. When you look at these S&P top 10 holdings, I've only really got Meta and Google in there. So the fact that I'm actually picking individual stocks and I will still outperform the S&P 500, which I think this year went to very overvalued territories. I think there's a lot of stocks out there that went up that probably shouldn't have gone up this year. The fact that I was able to beat the S&P 500 probably is a significant milestone, and I'm very proud of that. I think that that was a very good year for me to outperform the S&P 500. Anyway, let's get on to the returns. So last year I got a 39% return in 2023. I did the video here, which was a really good year of outperforming the S&P 500. I have outperformed it again, which now makes it 7 out of my 8 years in the stock market beating the S&P 500. The only year I have not beat the S&P 500 now is 2022. So really happy with that one. And overall, my return in 2024 was 31%. So a little bit of an outperformance on the S&P 500, which I'm really happy with. My top performers last year were obviously Hims and Hers, 150% as my largest position in the stock market portfolio. That was a significant reason why I was able to outperform the S&P 500 that was a really big lift in the portfolio. The second stock was Meta. Meta was up 69% for me. I've still not sold a single share of Meta, and this is the reason why. I still actually think right now it's not too bad value, 23 forward times earnings. You look at the company, 18% revenue growth, net income up 35%. This is still a pretty good value, and I didn't sell a single share, and that really helped me get the rewards. Going on to a UK stock was my third best performing stock in 2024, which was Darktrace. I can't show you a stock chart because it was bought out, but yeah, this was a really good performance for me, up 67% in 2024. A little bit gutted that they got bought out because I was buying this stock really heavy. It was becoming my largest UK holding, and I thought this was going to be a key holding in my portfolio for many years to come. But however, we did make the money on it, and that's the main thing. So Darktrace did really well for me. Next one was Watches of Switzerland Group, which actually was a negative last year, but because of the timing where I bought, I actually made over a 60% return on Watches of Switzerland, which was really good. So sometimes that kind of shows you that buying the stocks at the right time is really key. The next one was Lululemon. Same again, this was negative last year, down 24%. However, because I bought it at the right time, I was able to make a good return on it, and returned over 60% for me. So those were the top 5 performers in my portfolio. Now, UK stock wise, if I was just in UK stocks, I would have said that would have underperformed the market. And that is why I don't just have UK stocks. I try and put about 20% of the portfolio in UK, 80% in the US, because I think the US is the better opportunity. But I saw like the negativity on UK stocks yesterday when I did the UK stocks I'm buying video. And I've got to say, yeah, there was a lot of negativity out there, and yes, UK stocks do look a bit beaten down, and the future growth doesn't look great for them at the moment. But if you can pick the right stocks, you can get some really good values and make good money on them. For example, if you look at my top 5 from 2024, 2 of my best performing stocks in that year was UK stocks. You know, we had Darktrace at number 3, which did really well. Beaten down stock in the UK market, got bought out. Watches of Switzerland Group, once again, a beaten stock down in the UK market, did really well for us. So yeah, overall, I would say the UK portfolio hasn't done amazing this year, but all it takes is 2 stocks to do absolutely amazing, and it's pretty much worth the effort that you can put into it, and you can pick up those gems. So that's what I would say on the UK side of it. Looking at the US portfolio, I'm a little bit gutted actually about the US portfolio, because when I did this portfolio review in December 2024 on the YouTube for you guys, I will be doing one next week on how it's currently doing on the Patreon. You guys on the YouTube will have to wait another 3 months until you see the updated portfolio and how it's all going. But if you look at the portfolio in December, it was actually doing really well. Unfortunately, it did have a bit of a pullback from here, and if it wasn't for the pullback, I would have actually been up a lot more this year. I would have been up probably around about 36% compared to the 31% that I actually did end up doing, which is a little bit frustrating. But what also helped me to outperform is all my big positions did really well. You know, you look at the HIMs, the Metas, Mercado Libras did very well. SoFi was a very big gainer for us towards the back end of the year. PayPal did really well for us, which we haven't mentioned. So all of my big holdings did really well, and that's what really helped me outperform the S&P 500. Like I said, it was a little bit annoying because I actually thought I was going to be pushing on to a 40% return year, but towards the last 2 weeks of the year, we did see some pullbacks in the likes of HIMs and hers. That pulled back a little bit since I did that portfolio update. DraftKings pulled back a little bit from when I did that update as well. Mercado Libre pulled back a little bit from when I did that update. So unfortunately, I thought I was gonna have a year that was actually going to be quite close to last year, and then within the last couple of weeks my portfolio had a bit of a pullback between DraftKings and HIMs and the likes of Mercado Libre, which was a little bit frustrating because I thought this was going to be a really, really good year. I mean, it's still a great year, but it was a little bit gutted to just see those returns just pull back a little bit in the last kind of like week or two, but it is what it is, and maybe that gives them more room to kick on in 2025 overall. So yeah, overall, really happy with how I did in 2024. Obviously 2023 was a really good year. 2024, not as good as 2023, but still very good. You know, can't complain about an outperformance on the S&P 500. Just a little bit frustrating in the last kind of couple of days. Hopefully next year, once again, a really good year. I'm going to be looking for some of my big allocation stocks to do very well this year and carry on kicking on. There's a couple of new stocks that I bought in December, and the reason that really will help me outperform the S&P 500 is if the kind of new blood kind of kicks on. You know, I was buying PayPal in kind of 2022, 2023, and that stock performing so well helped me outperform the S&P 500 in the likes of 2024. SoFi, same again, 2022, 2023 building position, and then because it skyrocketed in 2024, one of the reasons why I was able to outperform the S&P 500. So all this kind of new blood is what helps me try and outperform. So I've been adding in a couple of new positions now, and hopefully those are the stocks that start bringing in the returns for me in the next kind of year, and we'll see how they do. But yeah, that's how I've done so far in 2024, and hopefully we'll have another very good year in 2025. Let me know how you did as well in the comment section as well. Hopefully you had a really good year as well. Apart from that, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, and I'll see you in a bit.